I was just wondering if you wanted to, go out sometime.
You want to get a coffee?
Now?
Yes, now.
I'll just hang on.
When I wake up, well, I know I'm gonna be.
Her name is Sadie.
Who wakes up next to you?
I mean, I know this sounds crazy, but I think she might be the one.
I know I'm gonna be the man who goes along with you.
She really is great. You'll see.
Any word?
She ghosted him.
I bet she hasn't even seen your text.
She does travel a lot for work.
Go to her.
I'm going to London.
See, you get it. It's a grand romantic gesture. Yeah, that is amazing, mate. 5,000 miles to surprise a girl that you've only met once, especially if she's the one who ghosted you.
No, she didn't ghost me. She just doesn't have an international calling plan.
Oh, right.
Where am I?
Oh, God, you have the wrong guy? I'm a former. Wait.
Whoa.
Can you walk, Gold? Say to you.
Who are you?
CIA.
So confused. They kept asking me about the tax man.
They asked you about the taxman?
They think I am a tax man. You're the tax man.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. You got me kidnapped and tortured all after one day. I saw the rock.
You're the one who flew to London.
It was a romantic gesture. Get every bounty hunter on the continent. I want her alive.
This is bigger than you and me.
Didn't it never occur to you that he could be a foreign asset trying to compromise your mission?
Who the hell are you? I'm the boyfriend.
Do you trust me?
Is that a joke?
Hi everybody, this is your host Roland DeRucci and this is Ready Speaker. You just watched the trailer for Ghosted, a new film on Apple Plus starring Chris Evans and Ana de Armas. So, how did you feel about that trailer? I'll tell you how I felt about it. You don't need to watch the movie. Everything pretty much is in that trailer. This is a very sort of odd film for me. It's I know what it's trying to be, and Chris Evans and de Armas have been in a few movies together. Knives Out, I think The Gray Man. I've seen a lot. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to sort of gather my thoughts about this after watching the trailer and the film. And it's not a success. This film feels kind of forced. I think the script is lacking. As you can see from the trailer, they're sort of giving you their best bits. It's mostly Chris Evans speaking as the character Cole. And we'll go character names for this. And Sadie is Ana de Armas. So her delivery, her investment in the delivery is just a little bit lacking, I would say, in this film. Generally, they look like they should. Well, they have performed together, and I thought they've always had good energy together. This should have been a slam dunk. It's playing up on romantic comedy, so a summary is that Sophie is a CIA spy. She's based in D.C. Cole, what do you want to do? He went to school for agriculture and minored in history. He went back to his family's farm, and I don't know if he sells alfalfa or whatever. He sells something in a farmer's market, and that's where they meet, and it's head over heels. It's a very tropey sort of thing. The successful businesswoman going back to a small town, but this time it's just a small farmer's market. And they fall for each other, headbutt. They don't really jive, but they find out that they really like each other. And he makes a romantic play, and after their all-night walk through a city, which I know people who've done that, which isn't totally unrealistic. They just walk all night. And I'm back. You get phone calls. I apologize. So let's get through this film. What is lacking? I will say a few things. So, well, not lacking, or usually red flags for me. And this is what I see when I see films that, I don't know, it is trying to elevate a certain person or sort of gravitate the direction of their success, and gravitate to a direction of what they perceive their success should be. And so romantic comedy, I think people have been pushing for her sort of get involved with people. She has a very good look, Ana de Armas, and she and like I said, people are just pushing her toward like find that couple, which is a weird thing in Hollywood. They always want the female actors to push into like relationships that they can repeat. You know, sort of Spencer and Spencer Tracy and Hepburn, and they want to repeat that constantly. So I guess they never want to see a woman without a man, which is kind of weird. In this movie, she, like I said, she's a spy, and then he finds out she's a spy, and then he sort of like this romantic gesture, goes to London, and he falls into all this like world of espionage and kidnapped, and they go to other places, and there's all things are happening, and people are killed and shot and everything, and he's just not that adept at being that guy, being that hero, even though he's Captain America to all of us. And he has the physicality for it. It's just definitely has the physicality for it, but it just doesn't sort of jive together. And like I said, that's why I think like this film is executive produced by Ana de Armas, by Sadie. The director is Dexter Fletcher. Writers are Rhett Reese, Paul Wernick, Chris McKenna. And you have Adrian Brody in it as well. And some cameos, which also irritated me. Anthony Mackie, John Cho, Ryan Reynolds, Sebastian Stan, Tim Blake Nelson, even Bern Gorman, who's actually he's an English cabbie, that's his name, but he's been in a lot of stuff. I remember that guy being in a lot of stuff. So there's a whole bunch of cameos that throws it off. And again, the red flag. So cameos, star cameos, always red flags, even though they're not in the trailer. They kind of red flags for me. Adrian Brody, he's a major player in it. He's a supporting actor in it. He's doing essentially the same character he just did in Poker Face last year. And maybe he's going towards that place. He wants to be that rough and tough guy. He's applying an accent, I guess, to differentiate from that character. It doesn't read well in this movie. I don't know what accent it is. I think his name is Levesque. I feel like he's trying to do something. I don't know if it's Eastern European. I don't know if it's something from the Mideast. I don't know if it's something from Latin America. I just don't know. It's definitely not European. I mean, Western European. It's not French or anything like that. Maybe North African. I simply can't figure it out, and it threw me off a few times. The green screen, not CGI, but the green screen was not great. There's a couple of shots that really show like, okay, that's a green screen. They're running in place and they just put a mount behind them. Now that could be because they ran out of time to shoot, or they need to revisit a shot and they pick it up with a B team, and they don't have the cameras, they don't have all those things like they did the first time, so the investment is much less when they go back and reshoot. Just so everybody, I guess, people are aware about filmmaking. You're not going to go to full crew. You're already over budget. You already closed out the deal. This is all extra, and you're trying to get things done. And sometimes you'll do a worse shot. You'll see that in a lot of movies. I was watching an old movie. I think it was Smoking the Bandit, actually, recently, and there are shots inside the car that are very grainy, really grainy. And the reason is they have to go back and shoot in a different state, different light setting, everything, like a month or two later to get the interior shots. And it's very obvious. And some shots are clean. A lot of the shots are really grainy. And it's disorienting. And that happens with a lot of movies. That is one of my red flags. Extras and day players. You need the right quality of them. They really didn't get them for this. There's a bunch of extras and day players. They just sort of don't jive. They don't fit well. They don't seem like they're really delivering. I know it's only a day, but they're in a big movie with a lot of big stars, and this could be your moment. And maybe the budget didn't allow for that because it went mostly to the leads and the cameos and everything else. But you need to sort of elevate the product. You got to think about the whole product, not just about their moments. And if you're doing that, they better have major moments. The Cole character is solid, invested. I think he's in the moment. He's talking. He's reacting to what's being said. The Sadie character, to me, and I know her character is supposed to be detached and learning about emotions. It's just not played right. She could fake it. She's a CIA agent. She's been faking it all along. It's clear that she's had physical relationships with people because they come up in the film. They're mentioned how passionate they were. So she's able to show that passion. Maybe it's just physical. Maybe it's a way to escape the life of death and whatever CIA stuff that's being portrayed. But she can get physical. She can get emotional. She can get very strongly attached very quickly. I would like to have seen that maybe, or to show that all of that was a facade. Something rather than just spoken word. Those are the problems for me. Another big red flag. Ana de Armas executive produced this. When people executive produce projects, it's very hard to get a no from people. It's very hard to get a crew and staff that will say, hey, that's not a good idea. I think we can do this better. I think we can elevate this story, because they're doing everything. So it's at this level, you're not going to argue with them. At a small film level, you might argue with them because you're all banking that this might get some success. And hey, I'm here to help you. That's why you hired me. This is, I'm staff. Thank you. I love having this budget. I'm going to be off for 2 months after this because I got a nice paycheck and we're good. You know, I don't know if it's worth watching this film. I'll be honest with you. This is like my second recording. Actually, it is my second recording without the pause. Not like, it is my second recording. Except because I saw the trailer right after I did the first recording, and it hit me. Like I said earlier, you don't have to watch the movie. Everything's in the trailer. That's the final flag of a poorly done film, or poorly executed, or poorly edited. I don't know what's wrong with it. I mean, the elements are there. I think the edits are okay. The fight scenes are okay for choreography. She's not a runner. She's not a great runner. Tom Cruise is the greatest runner. I think Chris Evans is doing a great Tom Cruise influenced performance. I don't know why. It felt very Tom Cruise. And that's also one of my takeaways with films. If I can imagine somebody else, or somebody pops into my head arbitrarily, just out of nowhere, that could have done this job differently and maybe popped a little more, or that maybe it was written for them. I didn't read any of the trivia about this, but maybe it was written for somebody else, or it was floating around as a script. I saw Sandra Bullock as a Sadie character, and possibly Tom Cruise as Cole Turner. I could definitely see it written for a Tom Cruise. I could see it written for a Sandra Bullock. I think they might have done something a little different. I think Cruise would have probably done it the same. Like I said, I saw Chris Evans just reaching into that world, doing the running and the physicality of it, the hyper frustration, the animated arm movements of getting angry, and the nice medium shots of him, and then showing him off a little bit. Her, I almost felt, it almost felt like it was a little bit like the old TV show Moonlighting, where they just beautied her up a little bit. And I mean, she's a pretty woman. She doesn't need to have that. She doesn't need to do that at all. But it felt like that was the emphasis on her, to show how cute she is. And that was the big push. I think it's a disservice to her talent. I think she's much more talented than that. I think she's taking a lot of chances with movies. I think she's pushing those. Not everything's a win, like in life. But her and Florence Pugh, I think those are the two people that are really, really pushing in this last year or two to get into films and doing a great job at it. And I think Chris Evans too. I like the fact that he will play against his type. He doesn't want to be Captain America forever. He does have the physical, feel of it. And there's a couple of bits that are a little funny in it. There's a thing where they do a polygraph, polygraph test, and the woman's strapped in his arm, and she's enamored with him, and she's flirting with him. And that's kind of funny. I think that's actually really funny. She's an actress from The Good Place. I forgot her name. It's just on there, but I thought she did a great job. Great rhythm, great tempo. Like I said, the cameos felt forced. The Cole family felt a little forced, a little bit too much, too stereotype romantic comedy. I'm just tired of them, I guess. And it's just another version of it. The poster, which I put up earlier, is all airbrushed the shit out of it. It just doesn't even feel like it's them. I don't know why. It's losing that magic, that spark that people have, that they both have. The camera loves both of them, and you don't see the spark, and it's off-putting. So, is it worth a watch? Yeah, you can watch it. You can wash dishes. You can do laundry. It's a streaming movie. It's not going to be something you want to see in the theater. You don't need to see it in the theaters. I don't think it's even shot for the theater. In its idea, it's like I said, it's a lot of medium shots. So theater, they're generally, because the screen's so big, there's a lot of really much wider shots or impactful close-ups. This is just a lot of medium shots, or at least that's what I remember. Honestly, it didn't really stick with me. Adrian Brody's accent threw me off. Tim Blake Nelson's delivery. I thought it was a little weird. I thought he was going to be a bigger character, and it wasn't. You have a couple other characters. They're not really written well. There's nothing to them, so those were kind of annoying. So there's a lot of little things. I think this is one of those movies of, yeah, don't do this. It would be great. Well, let's not do this again. If we can get past this, it'd be awesome. And get your paycheck, move on. That she's executive produced it means she has some investment in it emotionally. Maybe that blinded her a little bit. Yeah, not a great film. Yeah, the trailer's too long too. Kind of tells the whole movie. So this is Ron DeRucci, Ready Speaker. Come back, subscribe, like, ping me. Maybe you love this film. Sell me on it. Come back. We'll do a show. Revisit. I don't care. Maybe we revisit any movie I've reviewed or TV show, and we can sort of streaming show, and we can discuss it. I'd love to have another voice on this. But if you like the channel, share, like I said, subscribe, and I'll see you again when I do my next review. This is Ron DeRucci. Bye.